That's what he did. Bless him.
Awesome.
Yeah. You don't need to talk every day just to, you know.
Well, this is the thing. You can just end up having nothing to say.
Especially when you go nowhere or do anything.
Oh, apparently we are live.
Yay. Are we there? I can't see us though, unless it's just me.
Well, I think it's us.
Is that Emma Jane Sadler there again?
No, it's not saying that she's logged in at all.
Well,
unusually.
Where's she gone?
Oh yeah, there she is now.
She's there.
Just shameless, what can I say?
Oh well, you know, some people don't have a life, do they? That's the problem.
Do you know, there are days where I know that feeling, and then there are others where I just think, actually, I've got the perfect life.
Oh, I like my life. I'm quite happy with my lot. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse. So on balance, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's all good.
It is.
It's sunny. It's quite a moderate breeze today.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pleasant to be stood in it.
No.
If you can get away from the breeze and be in the sun, it's very nice. I
got up this morning and I cut the grass probably about half nine, and it was cloudy and it was cold. Perfect weather for doing a hard job like that, because you don't want to be in the hot, do you, really?
Well, no, you don't want to be sweating and
exactly.
all the rest of it, do you?
And then it has come out nice and sunny, but like you say, it's breezy. But I spoke to my mum earlier and she said they've got rushing down rain down there.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we're lucky. Enjoy it while we've got it.
Yeah, it's all good.
It is, it is.
It is, and I'm working on the border. Can you see on my blanket? So I've done...
You picked?
I went with the darker grey for some granny clusters round the edge, and now I'm just doing US double crochet, UK triple crochet or treble, and I'm using the duck egg colour, and then I'm going to do storm blue, and then I'll think about what colour to do next. I don't know whether to use something like Lincoln green and then finish with meadow.
So it's going to be quite a substantial border. A good border.
You're supposed to have two rows of trebles.
Yeah.
And then one of single crochet, and then this sort of picket effect.
Right.
Pico, however you want to pronounce it.
Pico.
Pico.
I think it's French, isn't it?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, it's like the French for knit is tricot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I watched a podcast once, bless her. She's an American lady from somewhere like Alabama or something, and she had a magazine there, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm really excited. I've got this new episode of the Liner magazine, and I was like, no, that's lane. It's French for wool, and you pronounce it lane, not liner. Bless.
Well, yeah, I suppose it's all based on what we know, isn't it? I mean,
it's true. I mean, I'm very lucky that I do speak a bit of French, so.
Okay, so Helen's here, and she says, have you got a hangover today?
I didn't have that much to drink.
Well, I think you had less than half a bottle, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I had slightly more last week, and then just finished it off last night.
Yes, noticeably more last week.
Yeah, naughty. It's fine. I might have to have a week off though. I can't be drinking every week. I'll be getting a reputation.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, you just have to do your thing, and it does say there was somebody had done some research. I can't remember which online newspaper I saw it in, where they were on about how a lot of people are drinking less during lockdown.
All right.
I mean, I'm not drinking any more or less because I don't drink a great deal anyway. I'm having a drink maybe once or twice a week or something. It's not.
Well, I would say I'm drinking more, because even drinking once a week, that's more than I would normally drink.
Yeah, if
I've
night
gone
was
months without.
here of a weekend, then I'll probably drink one night at the weekend. But if I'm on my own, I rarely drink at all.
Exactly. I usually only drink if I've got someone around or if Phil's home.
Yeah, I don't particularly enjoy drinking on my own. I think it's a bit.
But when we have our knit night, it's not quite like you're drinking on your own, though, is it?
No, it isn't. No,
It's sociable.
it is. It's better than being at the pub because we have knitting and crochet, and you don't have to wander off and find money to pay for your drinks.
You don't have to stumble home at the end of the night in a taxi.
Oh yeah, wishing you'd not worn those shoes.
Yeah, there's always shoes, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more likely to get to the end of the evening and realise I've got odd socks on.
Or the days when you couldn't remember whether you'd brought a jacket or a coat or something around your shoulders, and and I don't take handbags with me very often, so if I go out with a handbag, I'm likely to leave it behind.
If I go out with a handbag, it's a crossbody.
So it never can't leave it behind.
Yeah, can't leave it behind because it never comes off. It's on there for the duration of the evening.
Love it.
Well, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Because otherwise I'd leave everything everywhere.
Like me. So
I'll do a quick close-up.
Oh, that's looking good.
I'm trying to pick something sort of neutral. There's so many nice colours and there's lots left of all of them. It's hard to pick favourites for the body,
That's true.
It's like choosing your favourite child.
Or animal.
Yeah. I always say to Jake, I don't like favourites. I don't do any favourites.
I do. Blue.
And my favourite is me.
I always say that I have a favourite son and a favourite daughter. Quite lucky that I only had one of each, that I can do that.
Well, I've just got Jake, so I just said to him, do you know, you're my favourite son, and he always just smiles.
Exactly, it's brilliant.
It's not like he has to compete with anybody. Well, other than the dogs, they think that they're people, but they're asleep at the moment.
Dogs are people too. I can't believe that you didn't realise this.
Yeah, Coco has just very reluctantly eaten some of her chunky kibble that I got from Aldi last week, and it's exactly the same brand and flavour that we usually buy, but the pieces of kibble are chunkier. So whether they've changed supplier or maybe specification, I do not know, but
maybe she just really liked the little stuff that you had to get as an emergency the other week.
I think she really did enjoy that, and it is just kind of tough because I'm just not spending double the amount, and
no,
honestly, it's silly.
She'll forget eventually.
She will,
yeah.
Well, Jake had a welfare call from work today from the ship.
Excellent.
Checking how he was. Did he need anything? Had he recovered? Nice. That sort of thing.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, and the guy phoned a couple of times. The first time he phoned, the battery went on my phone as I answered it, and I couldn't get across the room fast enough to the one that was charging in the cradle to swap it to that one.
Right.
So I then took it to Jake and said, you'll have to ring this guy back, which he did. But of course, by then he was on another call. About an hour later, he called back and was all sorted. It just made me laugh that both times Jake had to get up for it. amused my parental sensibilities, but ha ha ha.
Callum got up and walked the dog at 6 o'clock this morning and then went back to bed and finally surfaced at about 1 o'clock, I think it was.
Eminently sensible. That's what Jake would do.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is. I'd said to him, it's still really busy across there. Do you want me to get you up early for the dog? So he said, yeah, wake me up at 6. So I did. He went straight out and then come back in. I think it's the most sensible thing to do at the moment, to be honest.
It is. I said to Jake, do you need anything in town? Do you want to go to any of the shops? No. He said, I can't do with all that queuing.
It's not good. It's better in the evening if you don't have to go anywhere else, like I said, if you just want to go to the supermarket.
Yeah, and I mean, I did say to him, queuing beats dying any day of the week.
Unfortunately,
what have you done with my scissors, Emma?
I don't know. I didn't see. I'm sorry, I'm not very helpful.
Slack attitude, is that?
It's just out of order.
Use the other pair.
I did finish my my cloth from last night.
So we're lucky. Oh, that's cute.
So it's just got like a bit of a textured pattern on it.
I was having a look at the yarn this morning, but they don't seem to have any print ones on there.
On where?
Lovecrafts.
All right. This was Rico baby cotton.
Oh, I thought that was the paint box.
No, this is the Rico one there. It's Rico baby cotton or something like that.
That'll be why I couldn't find it in the paint box yarns then.
That'll be why you couldn't find it in the paint box. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because this is just to die for. I love those colours.
It's so pretty.
I think that'd make a lovely cardigan actually.
Would make.
I've never used cotton to make, like baby clothes or anything.
I think it should be fine, shouldn't it?
It's just I've never used it. I'm sure it'd be fine. So I started on this one now. It's a lot plainer. It's just got one little speckle in it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah. And then that's all the cotton gone then.
I quite like working with cotton. I prefer a cotton blended with acrylic just because it lightens it.
I think it's 100% cotton. I don't know. The ball band's in the other room.
But I have had some cottons from Lana Stop that were really soft on the hand.
Right.
Mercerized cotton can be a killer, can't it? It's like working with baler twine.
Yeah. Well, this is lovely. I mean, it is baby cotton, so I assume I couldn't honestly tell you what content it was. I'd have to have a look at the ball band, which, like I said, is in the other room. So I'll let you know. But it is lovely. I would use it again.
I've got Builder Tea for my quarantini.
Yummy.
So I've still got that left in the
plenty, isn't it? You could do something else with that.
Well, I'm thinking I might start another blanket.
Why not? There's plenty of it.
Yeah, I don't know whether to do that light green next.
Well, green. I like that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking that and the meadow might work.
I like the meadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just remembering what I'm doing. I'm going to do like a. I thought
you were going to carry on with once I got a fish alive.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Not 1, 2, knock on the door.
No.
1, 2. It's because it's my first row and I'm just setting up the pattern, so I'm having to count it rather than because I can't read it.
Right.
It's like once you get a couple of rows in, you can start to read it, can't you?
Yeah. Well, that was the problem with that. Was it a Sadler cardigan? Or I think it was a Sadler pattern. It was the problem with that because they changed the pattern at the armholes
Right.
on the first row of the armhole shaping. So you're not really getting a true read of your pattern until several rows in, several repeats in, and it's a 4-row repeat.
Yeah.
And if you can't visualize it, it's actually quite difficult.
That's really frustrating.
Yeah, because and they only talked about the first couple of decreases and then said things like decrease 1 stitch at such and such an edge every row for 6 rows, and on this edge every 4th row. Fine. Whilst continuing in pattern. Well, it's a 4-row pattern. We've only done the first 2 rows, and I don't know what goes on top of what.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Because there's just no clue. So I'm thinking, I'd have charted that on a baby thing. It's so small.
How old was the pattern?
It's a fairly modern one.
Right. Because it's usually the older ones that don't have any kind of chart, isn't it?
But I don't think I have.
Because if you think back, like I remember when I was first knitting when I was younger, and I made my sister a jumper for her baby. So I must have been about 10, 11, and it had it was like a stocking stitch jumper, but it had pearl bumps in the shape of a yacht on the front, and the whole pattern was just written. So, you know, I don't think anybody ever thought of charts for knitting patterns in those days, 30 years ago.
No, possibly not.
But I don't think it didn't look that old, did it?
No, it's a fairly modern pattern. It just was kind of badly thought out.
Yeah.
Or perhaps because the person who designed it had been doing a gazillion swatches.
Maybe.
They were okay to follow on from the first couple of rows, whereas the rest of us mere mortals were thinking, what?
What's happened here?
I know nothing.
That happens to me all the time.
Oh, well, never mind.
I was up stupid early as well. I don't know what that was about.
Did you have a run?
No, I cut the grass instead. I thought that was enough energy for one day. And I did some baking.
Right, what do you...
My banana nut muffins
Muffins, yeah.
I've been trying to do them for days, and 2 of the bananas were right on the edge of what was humanly possible to do anything with, otherwise I'd have had to go in the bin. And I put some pecan nuts in, and they taste absolutely delicious, and I've eaten like half the batch. It's a good job the kids don't like banana nut. Well, they eat bananas, but every time I make banana muffins or banana bread or anything like that, they don't like it. So it's all right, more for me.
Yeah, shame that.
It is a shame. And the recipe was quite simple. So
Jake's tastes tend to vary based on, is there anything better in the fridge? And if not, we'll eat whatever Mum's made. He's gone upstairs with a toasty that I'd made him earlier.
Well, what was in it?
Cheese and red onion.
Oh, yummy.
And I'd microwaved the red onion first, so that it was nice and soft, because I don't like crispy bits of onion in me.
Oh, I do. I actually quite like it. Oh, I'm just a bit weird like that, though.
Oh, everybody likes things differently, don't they?
But then I see. Do you actually like raw onion?
I do like raw onion, but it doesn't always like me.
Oh yeah, probably come back to haunt you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
My sister's like that with cucumber.
Thinking I'll be burping it all evening.
Yeah.
It's just way not funny.
No, right, so first 2 rows done. It's looking really interesting so far, isn't it? Loads to look at.
Well, you know, it's early days.
Oh yeah, I've only just cast on, so.
Well, there you are then. Denise has just posted in the Airswick Massive, and it's a little graphic that says, "What day is it? Friday. What are we doing? Going out. Where are we going? The patio."
Oh, I was a little
It's
bit
really
confused
dark.
by the new government guidelines, though. I haven't actually seen them properly, but I understand that we are now allowed to drive somewhere to take a walk, which I thought the whole point was that we weren't supposed to be doing that, because then you'd end up with crowds congregating in the nicest places.
Well, it says that if the walk is twice the duration of the drive, well, people are then going to use it as, well, I'm going to walk in the Lake District for 16 hours, so I'll drive 8 hours from London to do that.
I don't get it.
No.
Honestly, do not get it.
Why can't they say a maximum of 30 minutes in the car either way or something like that? Because that's generally enough to get to a footpath, even in a city.
But we are still going to be back to square one, where we had loads of people trying to go to the same places.
Honestly, I think it's a retrograde step to be relaxing anything at the moment. I really do.
People were just getting their heads around what they could and couldn't do.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Jake was saying, oh, well, they're talking about that maybe in a week or two they'll let hairdressers back to work and nail salons and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, how close contact is that? How much PPE is my hairdresser going to need? Because she's touching my hair and my scalp, and I'm breathing the same air. I mean, she can't stand 2 meters away like whatever it is, Johnny Depp as Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. I just don't get it.
And when you're doing someone's nails, they're breathing all over you.
And unless you actually physically wash their hands for them or watch them wash their hands, do you know how clean they are?
Well, no, you don't. And I don't know. Jake said, well, people need haircuts. And I said, no, son, people want haircuts.
Yeah,
they don't
different.
actually need them, because your hair gets to a point where it doesn't grow any longer. And that's different for different people. The fact that you don't like it is immaterial. So it's, you want a haircut because you want to look a certain way. You certainly don't need one.
Not at the moment.
And he just looked at me like I was some sort of idiot. And I'm thinking, whatever.
No, I don't think it should be. The other thing that that I saw was that, and I assume this is in response to the pressure from domestic violence charities about being able to go to a friend's house for a cooling off period after an argument. Did I read that right? That you can do that now? I think everything was okay. Well, I don't know, maybe it wasn't, maybe I'm just naive, but I thought the rules were all right as they were. People were just getting their head around them, and then they've changed them.
Yeah, I think it's a retrograde step. And the thing is, if you look back at the Spanish flu pandemic, they relaxed restrictions. Everybody went out into the streets and started hugging and kissing one another. And then more people died than had in the war. How did that achieve anything? Because they rushed it.
Getting under pressure, aren't they?
Yeah, do we learn lessons from nothing? I mean,
not at all. I'm honestly worried that it's going to go back up again.
Well, I'm convinced it will.
It was starting to kind of, do you know, like before it was constantly up. And the daily death toll was kind of stagnant, down a little bit, but then back up again. But it was kind of like a flattening, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But it's not going to be anymore. It's just too much of a worry. But anyway, I'm staying home.
Well, I'm staying home as much as I can. We've noticed a definite drop this week in terms of support calls for our little volunteer group, and I think that's because more people have moved to prescription delivery from whoever the prescription is from, rather than asking us to go and get stuff. And one or two others are taking advantage of like the Morrison's box for someone living on their own, where it's got maybe a couple of pints of milk and it's got bread and it's got the, you know, tins of soup or whatever, because they're used to just sort of making do, and it'll supplement what they've got in their cupboards. I mean, I had a look and I thought, is there something Jake and I should discuss? But then I'm looking at the milk and thinking it's not enough for him. He won't drink semi-skimmed.
Right.
Living on it at the moment, because I said, if you can find 4 pints of whole milk, I'll buy it. We just want to go into any of the shops to look for it. And he did go into Bargain Booze and they did have milk in there, but he didn't come out with any. He came out with Guinness and Fanta. So
Excellent.
it can't be that big a priority, can it? But
Exactly.
for me, there's no good sending me semi-skim milk, because I just won't drink it because it'll make me poorly. You know.
Yeah, I won't be able to. See, the whole thing for me is that 90% of anything that anybody was kind enough to send, I wouldn't be able to eat or drink. So,
well, and I'm heading in that direction. I think I seem to be reacting to everything at the moment.
I think if your stress or whatever has been up, or you've been run down, or you've not been well, then your body starts reacting badly to foods. And unfortunately, I think you're going to find that there's more and more stuff that you can't eat going forward, because your body's already learned to react badly to certain things, and it's just kind of reverting to type, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I had a couple of dark chocolate ginger biscuits for my sort of 11s with my mug of tea, and within 30 minutes I had a screaming migraine, and I just thought, here we go.
Yeah,
it's a universal message. Stop shoveling that rubbish down your neck. So
you're going to have to do what I did and just literally cut everything out.
Probably am, yeah. Certainly need to do something.
You might be able to find you can add some bits and pieces in at some point.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to cut everything out. I'll stick with the veg and stuff like that, and try and get rid of the processed sort of foods. And like with the other biscuits and stuff I bought yesterday, they went into a bag and they went into his bedroom, because there's no way I'll go in there to go and get them. But if they're in the cupboard,
exactly,
that little devil on my shoulder will be going, you could just have half of that pack with that cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why would you want a banana when you could have those biscuits?
I know. Not that we've got any bananas.
I have.
Did have some pears, but I ate them all.
Oh, I gave Arthur a pear just now.
I love pears.
He was quite happy munching. Somebody's like dug their fingers into it, and there's like finger marks in this blooming pear, and I thought, well, I don't know what's going on there, so the dog can have it. And he was quite happily munching away on it the last time I saw. Hope
these
make his tummy bad.
These two really love pears.
He's never had one before, so he was a bit like, oh, what's going on? Because he's had loads of apples. One of his favourite things is I'll core an apple and fill it up with the squeezy Primula cheese. And he's got a toy and a treat all in one there. He loves it. But
these two would probably like that.
It's great fun. You can lick the cheese out the middle, and you can chase the ball around for a while until you're bored. And then when you are bored of doing that, you just eat it. Hours of fun.
Ideal, doesn't it?
Yeah. Why don't they have a human equivalent?
Well, yeah, maybe I should try that. I'll burn off a few calories while I'm doing it. I did my walking workout earlier.
Excellent.
So 3 days in a row.
Well done, you.
I'll be doing it slightly later tomorrow morning because I've got virtual slimming at 9 a.m. Hopefully there'll be some hints and tips from everybody, because it's not been the best week slimming wise. But
hints and tips as in don't eat the chocolate biscuits?
Well, I think mostly it'll be people with how to avoid it, what
Don't
to do
buy it.
instead. And well, for me, not having it in the house is the answer.
Yeah.
I do the shopping.
Yeah, don't buy it.
And Jake's hiding place for stuff, it's just rubbish.
Tell him that he needs a new
So
one.
not a pro. So not a pro.
I would be telling him, you're all right, son. I know where it is. Can you please find a new one?
Yeah.
See what happens. I am supposed to go for a run tomorrow.
You don't sound very excited.
I'm not really in the frame of mind for running at the moment. I don't know. It's not quite the same when it's on your own.
Well, why don't you just do on the treadmill?
Well, I was thinking that I might. I'll just see how I feel in the morning. I might get up, and if I say to myself, you only have to go around the block for 20 minutes, then sometimes I end up going out for an hour. It's just actually getting the shoes on and getting out the door.
Yeah. The hardest part is starting.
And especially as where I live, my house goes out onto a really big hill. I'm halfway up the hill. So you go out my house and you run up the hill to start, and then like go around, and you do go downhill and everything. And then when you come back up at the end, you've got to go back up the hill. But normally I stop by that point and I just walk up the hill as my slow down.
Right.
And it is the best way to do it though, because you get a really nice sweeping downhill as you go down like this Dixon's Bank. If you do it the other way round, yes, you start with a downhill instead of an uphill, and that's a nice ease into it. But then instead of getting a nice long sweeping downhill, you've got a slow burn uphill that goes on and on and on and on. And it's just horrible. So you're better off getting it over and done with out of the way at the beginning.
Sounds eminently more sensible to me.
Yeah. So it's not, it is starting is horrible because you're thinking, oh, I've got to get up that hill. But
I suppose that's always hard work, isn't it? Actually getting going. Oh, excuse me.
Are we keeping you up?
Must be.
Oh. What are you going to watch tonight? You're going to watch The Phantom?
I might do, because I quite like that one.
It's I can't remember who was in it, but it's quite a new recording of it. It's not the movie, it's the stage show. Because I do like the movie, because I've got Gerard Butler in it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Caitlin's going to watch it with me. She likes The Phantom. We do have tickets to go and see The Phantom the first weekend in November.
Right.
So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we still get there.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, so just looking forward to that. But you know, it's really disappointing because you know my lovely, gorgeous, sexy Jesus that I like.
Yeah.
He is the Phantom at the moment in London, and he's just been to Greece on tour to play the Phantom.
Right.
Obviously back in London in isolation now, but he's a Sunderland lad, and I'm going to see it in Sunderland, and I was hoping that he might actually fancy a trip home, and no, he's not playing the Phantom in Sunderland. How rude.
Well, sometimes people leave because they don't want to come back.
Well, yeah, I suppose. But I do think I need to send him a tweet and tell him how very disappointed I am.
Yeah. What, hashtag traitor?
Yeah. Hashtag, I can't believe you've just ruined my year. Not really.
Did you see the post I'd put in the group about the 500 miles?
I haven't been on Facebook actually, to be honest. I don't do Facebook very often because I've got out of the habit of it, because about a year ago I didn't close my Facebook account, but I removed it off my devices, and I made a conscious effort not to go on, and it took a while to get used to it, but then I'm completely used to not going on it. So now having to make a conscious effort to go on and have a look it's, yeah, I'm not in the habit yet, so no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, it's sort of a
We'll go
musical
and-
conversation, and it's
Right.
hang on, let me go to the page. I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more from the Proclaimers.
Yeah.
And then Captain Tom Moore says, hold my coat.
Oh, bless.
I
He's
know.
just amazing, isn't he?
Adorable.
I signed a petition this morning to have him knighted.
Yeah, I signed that one yesterday, and but there's
Right.
a caveat coming
Go
here.
on. I don't think it will happen.
You know me, I've always got a condition, but for me, the next honours list, I do not want to see a single vacuous, vapid, cretinous celebrity, lovey, actor, or what, you know, or a half celeb, one of these. I'm famous for being famous. I don't want to see any of that crap in the honours list. I want to see doctors, nurses, carers, hospital porters, hospital cleaners,
Supermarket shelf stackers.
yeah, people who stack the shelves, lorry drivers and distribution staff, couriers, posties.
Yeah.
Not a famous person in sight. And I feel a bit sorry for Ben Fogel, because he'd apparently made the suggestion that could everybody sing happy birthday for the Queen, because it's I don't know whether it's a proper birthday or an official birthday. I don't know why.
April is her real birthday and June is her official birthday, and I know that because it's the day after my stepdaughter's birthday, her real birthday.
Right. Well, anyway, he suggested that the nation could sing happy birthday, and a lot of people have replied and said, no, actually, because she's got everything she needs. She doesn't need a happy birthday from us. And if we're going to do anything, we want to clap for the people who are keeping the country going, not the head of state. And it's caused quite a furore, and some people have been rather mean about it, and other people have said, oh, what a lovely idea. But it was always going to be a bit like Marmite, where you can split the room with the lovers and haters. It's a really emotive one.
As long as the recognition gets given where it needs to be given, where it's due, then I don't have a problem with singing happy birthday to the Queen either, because I like her, and I think, you know, her speech was brilliant, and it was just exactly what we needed at the exact right time. So I don't have a problem with saying happy birthday. However, like you, I also think that that needs to come hand in hand with the recognition where it needs to be.
Yeah, right. I'm going to throw Coco out the back door because I don't know what's going on.
My dog's just started barking. I think somebody had the audacity to walk past the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I on my own? Is Helen still with us? Is Helen still here? Do you think, Lorraine?
As if you were ever on your own. I was only the other end of the room.
I know, but do you think Helen's still with us?
I'm not sure. Different window. Hang on. Oh, Anne Hall's just joined. Hello, Anne.
Oh, hi, Anne. How's it going? Finished work? Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I can't believe it's Friday.
It doesn't feel like any different to any other day.
No, it's just this day, that day, the other day, someday.
Today or tomorrow. Actually, what was it? I was watching something online and they were saying that what's quite appropriate at the moment is the song from Annie, Tomorrow. Because you're only a day away, you know, and I love you tomorrow. I'll give you a hug tomorrow when I can. I love that song.
I like the sentiment. What I hate is the showbiz kids singers that they get. It's that fake stagey, that's gonna come out tomorrow.
Jazz hands.
Oh yeah, it's all a bit forced and fake, and you've probably got really lovely voices, but what is it with the overacting thing that they all feel the need to do with that particular song and just kill it?
I didn't like the new version that they made.
I wouldn't have watched it, so I can't comment.
Oh, I just didn't like it. Can you see
Yeah,
the pattern coming through? Yeah.
It's not one I really like. So
Can you see that?
it is looking really pretty.
Yeah. I've got my sore throat back again. Oh, Anne's working hard apparently. She's got an hour to go.
Is it the psychosomatic thing?
Oh, I've had it for weeks. Absolutely weeks. I don't know what's going on. Probably is just in my head.
Have you got an exciting weekend planned, Anne? I think I may venture out to Costerdale back garden, and I may spend some time in Porterdale front garden sitting under the parasol if it's nice. But we've got rain forecast tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I'll probably work. I've got a little bit of web stuff to do to help somebody out that's got themselves in a knot. So.
I think I might go to Costerdale decking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's always lovely there, and the staff are excellent.
Oh, well, you know, the service can be a bit lacking. It's beautiful. Did I tell you about those ladies that were stuck on the cruise ship? And that one of them, this was a few weeks back now, I assume they've got home, but they were being interviewed on the news, and one of them was complaining about the terrible service.
Oh, good Lord.
They're stuck in their cabin because of like the quarantine, and she's like, and the service is terrible. And we rang up and we asked if we could have a tuna sandwich, and they brought a cheese sandwich.
Oh, some people are never grateful whatever you give them, I think.
It's funny.
They're just professionally unpleasant almost.
Yeah, definitely. You just can't see the bigger picture as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, that person is actually coming and delivering food to you at probably great personal risk.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And it's just this lack of gratitude. There's a lot of that going around. And yet there's other people. I mean, I picked up a prescription for someone last week, and she put a public thank you on Facebook for everyone that had helped her. And I thought that was really sweet. I mean, at the end of the day, I did it because they needed help with it, and it's no trouble for me to go into town. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think where I find it frustrating is if you've got someone who's got a monster shopping list, and you end up having to go to 6 shops, which I wouldn't do. And you kind of think, well, hang on a minute, you're going to have to be a bit flexible on some of this, because some of this stuff we just can't get.
Exactly.
But, everybody we've dealt with has been amazing.
And some of it's restricted as well, so you can get it. But if you're going out shopping for more than one person at a time,
yeah,
it's just crazy. I don't know if people are going to be going out and doing shopping. I don't know how they can do it, that they can differentiate between the hoarders and the carers kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
It
Tracy Brooks has popped in. Hey, Tracy. That's
Hey,
Rosie,
Tracy.
Jake's girlfriend. So, are you Jake's mother-in-law, mother outlaw?
We all like our outlaws. I spoke to my outlaw this morning.
They are wanted, aren't they?
Yeah.
I like to think of it that way.
Go on, Flash. Blanket of the century. Do, do, do.
It's a lot smaller than Rosie's blanket. There's this pinks and lilacs and purples and greys, 2 or 3 different greys. And
I need to make a blanket, I think. I still haven't got up the courage to finish off my jumper. It's still sitting there waiting. I will get round to it.
Well, there's no rush, is there?
Well, it's not as if I can wear it at the minute. It's a bit warm, I think.
Yeah, and you could pass out doing the photographs.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just going to concentrate on baby stuff at the moment.
Yeah, well, baby's on the way,
And it's quite nice to have little things to work on as well at the moment, actually.
Yeah, it's instant gratification and you don't really have to think very hard about it, do you?
Well, that's why I'm enjoying doing these. They take me maybe 2 days in between doing, stuff around the house, or and then they're easy. You could just pick them up, do a couple of rows, and then go off and empty the washing machine or whatever. And there's no having, once you've set the pattern up, there's no having to think about what you're doing, which is ideal.
I'm so glad that I wove in most of the ends as I went along. I've only got a few ends to do now.
Could you imagine? You would be looking at it going, I really haven't got the strength for that.
I was a bit like that with the June blanket. I got halfway through and thought, yeah, I have to stop and I have to just weave in ends because otherwise I'm never going to finish it. And I had to just spend an evening doing that.
Yeah.
But some of the motif blankets where it's hexagons or squares, and you've got colour changes every row, and you end up with loads of ends. So it's easier to make half a dozen squares or hexes and then weave in all the ends on those and then do your next set.
Yeah.
And that just makes sense.
You definitely need something good on the TV to watch while you're doing that sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely. And fairly mindless stuff, because you've got to concentrate on what you're doing. And
comfort watching. I tell you what, I was watching this morning because I turned the news off, where I was awake so early and I wanted to cut the grass, but I didn't want to go out too early because, dogs barking and lawn mowers and that. It's not fair on the neighbours. So I turned the news off and I put on Have I Got a Bit More News for You? Watch that. And then it just automatically started playing the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special.
All right.
So I let it run for a little while and I thought, do you know what? This is the ultimate decadence, isn't it? It's 8:30 on a Friday morning. I'm sitting in bed knitting and watching Gavin and Stacey. You can tell I haven't got a job anymore, can't you?
Well, it's one of those things. Who'd have said at the beginning of the year that we could save the planet sitting on our asses, crafting
TV
and watching telly? Who'd have thought that would be the way to save millions of lives? And I think we are quite privileged because there's a lot of people don't have the security of a home.
Yeah.
We're unbelievably
strange.
Fortunate.
My poor brother's really feeling it at the minute. He's on his own because he's in his own home. He's 50, I think he is. He's got diabetes, and his girlfriend lives in her house.
Right.
They did live together, but they decided that they were better with their own space.
Yeah.
And so he's not seen her since this whole thing started because they're in their own homes and that. And I think he is really struggling. He's working from home, but there's only so much work you can do.
Well, and you can't have a conversation with yourself, can you?
I know. So yeah. I do think it's harder for the people that live on their own. We're lucky we've got our kids. And for all the fact that they're teenagers and they just sort of like go in their rooms, to be fair, it's easier than having little ones because we're not having to entertain them. So they're there and we can have a bit of company when either they or we need it. Like tonight I said, oh, Caitlin, come and watch The Phantom with me tonight. So she will. So we'll maybe make some popcorn and sit and watch The Phantom together. And it's human contact and it's enough, but it's not overwhelming. You don't feel like you're responsible for making sure that their education's on track, that they're entertained, that they're not scared, that they're not frightened. I really feel for people who have got younger children at the moment.
Yeah, it must be hard going. Tracy, by the way, is still in the midst of lambing.
Oh gosh.
And she posted a video that I shared earlier of the lambs racing in the field.
Oh, I did see that one.
Unbelievably cute. And did I see a post earlier, Tracy, about George, the pet? I think George had to come home. Was George rejected and he's now got a new mum, or was he a twin that's had to go to a new mum? But there's a
Oh,
lovely video or a photograph of him suckling away very happily with
oh.
his new mama.
Do you have to like hand rear many sheep? I wonder if
I think there's a very small handful, you know.
not too many then.
Most,
My headphone
yeah,
just feels
not
full.
loads. Well, ideally, you would get them off onto another sheep.
Yeah, a surrogate,
Yeah,
a foster.
well,
All
they're
those
quite good
posh
like that.
words. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're just so ridiculously cute when you see them running round. And is it gambolling? Is that the correct expression?
They are cute. I like baby sheeps.
I like the grown-up ones, and Olive Tracy's very often, because she knows them all by name.
Yeah.
They'll come if they're shouted, and you know they want a nose rub or an ear rub, or
So they're very much like dogs.
they certainly see themselves as pets. And Billy the goat is lovely; he follows around all over the place.
I'd love a goat.
And
I want
when he
one of those
gets,
little pigmies.
and once he realizes he's quite tall, Billy. Once he realizes that you're a mug that will pet him, he just will. He's glued to your side for the rest of the trip round the field
Brilliant.
because he wants a force. Occasionally on our dog walk here, there's a field where they put this ram in. Well, I don't know if it's a ram or if it's a goat. It's quite big. I'm assuming it's a goat, but then I kind of look at the horns. It's because it's got horns, and I'm not sure, but it's big,
Right.
compared to certainly the sheep that are usually in the field, and it hangs around by the kissing gate.
Oh.
And if you rub his ears and his nose and give him a fuss and talk nicely to him, he'll let you through. But then he walks the length of the field with you, and you have to fuss him the whole length of the field. He does not bother about the dogs at all, not remotely bothered by them. And once I'd petted him, the dogs just sort of went, oh, okay, he's just one of us.
Yeah.
So they were just snuffling around doing their own thing. And every time he spots us, he's straight over for a fuss.
He remembers you.
Yeah, I mean, so whether he was a pet when he was little, I don't know. But he obviously likes that contact with people.
It's mutually agreeable.
Yeah, I think it's kind of sweet.
I do like goats. They have loads of animals in our local park, and they've got the little tiny pygmy goats. They're cute. And little tiny horns. Probably not even the size of like the tip of your little finger. Tiny. Yeah, really cute. I could take one of those home.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing
I might
is,
regret
like,
it.
all these people that have these little baby pot-bellied pigs, and they get quite big.
Miniature pigs. Where did we go? I can't even remember where it was. We were on holiday somewhere in the days when we had our caravan, and we went to like a local zoo wildlife parky type thing.
Yeah.
And there was this massive, great big whole area full of these massive, huge pigs, and they all had signs outside saying donated by such and such family who thought that they'd bought a miniature pig. You know, and it's like, oh my goodness me, they were huge.
They are big.
I don't know how. Yeah, but even as a baby, there must have been quite big. There must have been a clue there. It's like Arthur, when he was little, he was already the same size as my mother-in-law's fully grown Australian terrier thing. And he's a puppy and they're the same size and she's fully grown. Surely there's a clue there. Well, this is a baby and it's quite big already.
Yeah, we knew with Mocha because she had massive paws, and that this dog was just going to spend its whole life trying to grow into them.
That's the thing. You can definitely tell with dogs when they're paws.
Yeah, she's good.
And I can't imagine that pigs and things would be much different in that respect. There must be clues.
No, I'm sure the farmers will be glad of a bit of rain tomorrow.
We haven't had rain for ages.
Had the odd little shower, but
nothing to shout about.
Nothing, no. Nothing like we would usually get this time of year.
The fields are very dry. Very, very dry, like bone dry, to the point where I'm not usually coming back from a dog walk at this time of the year and not having to hose the dog down. And he's been fine.
Yeah, most of the year I bring mine back and have to scrub paws with heavy scrub and tidy them up so that I can at least let them in the house and the floor doesn't get any worse than it is.
He came back perfectly fine this morning. I don't even think he managed to find one single puddle or anything. Or one patch of mud that was slightly damp.
Mocca's speciality seems to be finding something festery and dead.
They like the smell, don't they? Does she roll?
Yeah, and she'll come back and, big grin on her face. I smell of dead whatever. Yeah,
it's usually after you've touched them and then you realise.
Oh, the times I've gone to, she's come running back to me and I've gone to pet her because she's come back when she was cold and she's smeared with wet poo or rotting fish or something like that, where a bird's dropped a fish that it's taken out the river. And gosh, you're covered, they're covered. Back home, back garden with buckets or the hose pipe to clean them off again. And then she's looking at you as if to say, that was
why did you do that?
That was canine Chanel. How dare you?
Yeah.
It's taken me years to get just the right fragrance and you've totally ruined it.
I'll never find that fragrance again.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah, there was a dead sheep in the field last summer for about 3 weeks. Boy, did it stink. And it was during the really hot weather. It was minging. You could smell it from 100 yards away. It was disgusting. It was so bad, even them two didn't go near it. That's how awful it was.
Our farmer's manure pile is smelling extremely pungent at the moment and it's properly steaming. I don't know what that's all about.
It'll break down fairly quickly in the heat.
Yeah, it is definitely letting off all sorts of gases. So
good, it'll all happen quickly and it'll soon be gone. No.
Well, it's not my turn to walk him until Monday again, so
awesome.
Yep. I do enjoy a weekend. I felt really naughty staying in bed this morning, kicking my son out to walk the dog, and I stayed in bed and got another cup of coffee.
Oh, I might have felt like that, but then what about the days where we get up and do the laundry and hang it out to dry and bring it back in and put another load of laundry in and hang that out to dry, and they still haven't surfaced? And we've done work and we've done phone calls and we've done shopping and all
cooking,
of that. So
cleaning.
yeah, I used to feel guilty about giving him jobs, but I'm flaming sure I don't now.
I don't feel guilty about the jobs as much as the fact that he was doing jobs and I was still in bed. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he does not lie awake thinking,
no, it's
how
not
unfair is this to my mum?
No, it's definitely not reversed, is it?
No. So why do you feel that?
Just because I'm the mum and mums have guilt about everything and anything. We even have guilt about having guilt.
Yeah.
I've got bitter lemon now.
Sounds like a lot of effort to me. I'll go back to me cold tea.
Is it cold now? I finished my tea. Huge mug gone. You know what that means. I'll need the loo soon. But I think that's why I get a sore throat. Is maybe I don't drink enough or whatever.
Could be, I don't know.
And it's just been weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm going to have peanut butter and jam on toast for my tea.
Oh,
It's pure comfort food.
It is nice. I like peanut butter, but Jake hates it.
I get 2 bits of toast them. One's jam, one's peanut butter. Shove them together as a sandwich. Yum, yum. Happy days. And I might have a banana nut muffin as well. Be really naughty. Sugar overdose.
Well, they do go off.
Well, you know, I can't be putting them in a container. It's just more washing up.
Well, yeah, and you need the containers for emergency things.
Well, exactly.
Like yarn.
Yeah. I think I do.
Wool storage or something.
Yeah.
Far more important than that.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I took a life? I killed a moth.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Was it going for your wool?
It was certainly having a good sniff around.
Well, it's a good job you saw it.
Yeah, sneaky little thing. I think it'll come in the back door because I just, you see something moving out the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And it flying in, and I'm thinking, you little monkey.
No, not a little monkey, it's a moth.
Wow, you know what I mean. It was sprayed with Dettol laundry disinfectant because that was the spray I had to hand, just enough to disable it so that it could then be taken out in a handkerchief and binned.
I'm sure it didn't like the spray, definitely.
It wasn't keen.
No.
Probably something cruel and awful about that, but do you know, you cannot have moths in a house of wool. You just can't. They can hang around in the garden, do whatever they like elsewhere, but they can't come in here, and that's that.
Exactly.
No, we have very strict membership code here.
And you do give fair warning. I'm sure that the local moths all know about the rules.
Well, and I had tried to catch it, but wasn't playing ball.
Well, that's not your fault then, is it?
I believe I tried to negotiate.
It's like spiders.
I feel like I've got very far at all.
You know, when you say to the spiders, we've got a bit of an understanding here. You may live in my house as long as you stay out of sight. As soon as I see you, that's it. You've had it. Yeah.
Other side of the bedroom, no cobwebs over here. There's a very strict demarcation line.
Definitely.
About where they can go.
Rules are rules. You stick to the rules and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, for sure. Generally, the spiders are dead good. Really well behaved, you know. I don't know whether they've got some sort of union thing going on or...
They possibly have some kind of hierarchy where they, get told what they can and can't do.
Yeah, where one of them sort of speaks human and translates for everybody else.
He's got the handbook and he reads the handbook to them.
Yeah, could be that. Just like the Book of Leicester.
Yeah, that's the one.
Cloister. Yeah.
Who's Cloister?
Who's Cloister?
Yeah.
Well, in the newest series, there's a species of cat people descended from his original cat, and his name has been changed over the years from Lister to Cloister.
Okay. Right.
And they say things like holy poppadoms and
holy poppadoms, I like it. Oh dear. I quite like this colour. I'm not normally a pinky person. I
like the sort of gentle speckles through it. They're really pretty. Can we have a quick flash of you?
It's completely not in your face, isn't it? Look at that.
It's very subtle.
And it's a nice little pattern I've put in there.
Just enough. Like the angles and the...
Yeah, it's just enough, I think, because I tried using this pattern with the other pink one, but because there were so many more colours in this one, it just got lost.
Yeah.
You really couldn't see it at all, and I thought there's no point.
No.
So it definitely looks much better in this colour.
Oh, that's good.
Aye. So what you having for your tea?
I don't know. I've not taken anything out of the freezer.
Water and celery sticks.
Yeah, and more water in case I get hungry, I suppose.
You're definitely not having any of that chocolate stuff, are you?
Yeah, dust and water and celery sticks.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Might have some romaine lettuce if I'm lucky.
Isn't that it? Is it true that lettuce burns more calories consuming it than it actually contains?
I think it's celery.
Is it celery that does
that? Yeah, because of the chewing.
I don't like celery.
I don't mind celery the way that my mum does it for a buffet, and that's where you get half a pat of butter and you mix it with Stilton that you've crumbled, and you make a smooth kind of buttery Stilton-y pate.
Right.
And you fill the grooves in the celery with the Stilton. Yeah. And then salt and pepper it. And that's awesome. But my ex-husband's view of celery was that you should cook it lightly in olive oil so that it slides more quickly into the bin.
Like
I buy it frozen in a vegetable base mix, a mirepoix from Asda's, and that's got carrot, celery and onion.
I can eat it like that.
Very finely diced.
Yeah.
I've got to sweat it or saute it in the pan until it's nice and soft, and then we'll add the meat or do whatever I'm going to do as to whether it's going to be a soup or a bolognese or
I can eat it like that because it's just more like a bit of an onion, isn't it? It tastes okay in that respect. My mum always used to eat it when we were growing up raw, just dipped in salt.
See, that's just wrong.
It's not even wrong. It's just like, oh, yeah, not good.
Not everybody likes the stringiness. Sometimes it's a textural thing with celery, but it's
definitely very crunchy, isn't it? I can even hear my mum crunching on it now while I think of it. And we used to grow rhubarb, and my dad can't stand rhubarb, and we used to have that dipped in sugar. There's a theme going on here. My mum was quite inventive with the ways that she used to give us our fruit and veg. And you only had to say rhubarb to my dad and he shudder. He can't stand it. Really funny.
Yeah, we used to get orange slices dipped in sugar.
Like a big one cut up into quarters. Yeah. So they're all right as they are. Do they need the sugar?
I don't think they do. Colin always thought it needed sugar. And I quite like eating the skin.
Oh no, I've never been a fan of. I don't even like is it the pith, the white stuff?
No, it's quite bitter.
Yeah, I don't like that. But
if you get oranges, and helps if they're seedless, but it doesn't matter if they're not, and you whiz them through the food processor, cut them into quarters, and it makes sort of a paste, and that's lovely added to cake mix. Gives this lovely citrus, and the lemon oils or the orange oils go in, and it's absolutely brilliant in a cake, and you have no idea it's in there.
Yeah,
it's a really great way of using them up.
Talking of which, my banana nut muffins, the recipe called for coffee in it, and it is really nice. You don't eat it going, oh my god, there's coffee in this, but it is lovely.
How much coffee did you put in?
1 tablespoon, not a huge amount, not like actual made up coffee as you would drink it.
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah, not a tablespoon of coffee granules.
Yeah, I was thinking that would be a bit strong, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, it called for like an espresso, or luckily I had a pot of coffee on that was just sitting there, so I just poured a tablespoon of it in. It's lovely, really nice.
Will it be quite subtle?
Mm.
Just add kind of a level of something that you're maybe not sure it's there at all.
Yeah,
You know there's something, but you're not sure what it is.
couldn't say what it was.
Mm.
Like the Colonel's 511 herbs and spices, or whatever it is.
Allegedly, yeah.
Somebody found out what they were, didn't they?
Oh, we'll probably do it from chemical analysis.
Somebody spent 18 months in their kitchen cooking KFC until they got the recipe perfectly right, and then they've posted it on the internet, apparently. It was on Have I Got News For You?
Yeah, well.
It's got to be true.
Who has that amount of time?
Somebody who is obsessed, maybe. Come in handy quite now, for the people that, I mean, I've never been a fan of KFC personally. But if you're really missing your Friday night KFC, there you go, you can download the recipe.
Yeah, I'm not missing stuff like that because we don't really do a lot of takeaways, if I'm honest. It's not.
We don't. Although Callum was asking for one the other day.
Yeah, I suggested to Jake, did he want anything? And he just sort of looked at me and went, no, we've got a fridge full of food. And I went, okay.
There you go. I might get one on Monday or something.
I'm not really missing anything like that because it's not something I eat very often anyway. I tend to cook.
I can't eat any of it. I can't eat pizza. I can't eat Chinese. I could probably eat an Indian, but my two won't eat it. So
Tracy is allergic to potato.
All right.
And she's gluten-free. So she's got to be so careful.
Yeah. Indians are better. They're the best one if you've got food issues.
Right.
The last time I had an Indian actually was New Year's Eve when we were out. It was actually quite nice.
So it would never occur to me to even go out on New Year's Eve.
Well, we were away, weren't we, for our run, our Scottish run?
Oh, yeah, you were. I mean, yeah, I used to spend New Year's Eve, and Kevin's got loads of photographs of me slonked on the sofa. It's just a different outfit every year, looking over my glasses going, can we go to bed yet? Do I have to stay up?
Yeah. Love it.
And my family know there's no point texting me or phoning me. I am not going to answer the phone.
Oh, I know what I was going to say to you. You've just reminded me. One of my friends from work that I don't work at anymore, even though I've not heard from my line manager still all week long, but that's a different matter. Anyway, she texted me, it was a few days back, I can't remember when, but at some point this week, and she said, oh, have you seen that the Sewing Bee's coming back on next week? I was like, oh yeah, really excited about that. She's like, oh, we should watch it at the same time and then we can text each other and talk about it. And I was like, yeah, that'll be fine. Anyway, I saw a trailer for it this morning. It's on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. If she thinks that I'm going to be watching that live, it's not going to happen, is it?
He just doesn't know you very well at all.
Well, I mean, because it's moved to BBC One now, hasn't it? It was always on BBC Two, and it was on at a reasonable time. I think it was like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, which is fine. Caitlin and I absolutely love it, and we used to watch it all the time. But it's obviously really popular, and they've moved it onto BBC One. But why 9 o'clock? I don't understand, because it's quite good family viewing.
Yeah.
I can only imagine it's the comedian that hosts it.
Do you not think that it's everything to do with the fact that they're really struggling with content at the moment? Because stuff that they were making for now is probably being postponed.
Right.
And they're rolling back other stuff that they had in reserve.
But even so, they could put it on at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but they might not have anything for that prime time slot.
Movies.
It's all down to money and availability.
I suppose, yeah.
There'll be cash as a reason behind it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, because things like EastEnders isn't going to be going on forever. I mean, I don't watch any of them.
No, I don't.
Catch on the news, they were talking, like I said to you, about the woman who said, let's all share our silvers from Emmerdale. And she said that they've cut it down, I think, by 2 episodes a week. Which means that it'll extend what they've got until June, I think she said.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe in a couple of weeks' time, if this is, you know, the government says no, still not, another 3 weeks or whatever, they might cut it down by another episode a week. But like you're saying, what are they going to fill the gaps with?
Well, and this is the problem. This is why we're getting loads of programs on where people are presenting from home, and there's going to be a lot more of that in the short term because they're going to have to do something to string it out.
Well, on ITV,
nobody's had a plan for this.
No, when I watch the ITV news in the morning, on GMB, even the weather presenters are presenting the weather from home at the moment.
Well, I should think so too.
It does. I mean, it's not the sort of thing that you need to go into a studio to do a weather forecast, really. They've got all the computer stuff so that they could see what the weather looks like. We don't need a chart. They can just say, you know, in Scotland, it's like this. In Wales, it's like this. North of England, south of England. Do you know, a rough idea? It doesn't have to be down to your individual city anymore, does it?
No.
Which is what I was saying last night about feeling like we've gone back over a bit time-wise. You know, we're used to having a really accurate weather forecast for up to 5 days. It's not necessary. We don't really need it, do we?
Well, not bloody going anywhere.
Oh, exactly. Well, am I going to need an umbrella to go out today? Oh, hang on a minute. I'm not going out today.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of getting used to things that we don't really need anymore. Like you said about haircuts. We're used to having them. We're used to spending quite a lot of money on haircuts, aren't we, really, if you think about it?
Well, a lot of people are. I mean,
yeah.
Probably get mine cut about 4 times a year or something.
I get mine coloured every month, but I wasn't getting it cut every month. Just getting the roots and everything done, but it's fine. Like I said, I'm quite excited to see what my grey looks like when it grows out.
Yeah, I don't mind my grey. I'm not keen on the texture.
It's the only thing, isn't it? It's definitely different.
Yeah, it's thicker and curlier and
hello
out here, you know.
What time do you think it is? Look who's come to see me. Oh, you come to say hello. He's like a clock, isn't he, this one?
It's dinner time.
Yeah, he's crying.
His tummy tells him it's dinner time.
He knows, he knows.
Which means it's time for bed, Zebedee.
I swear my bedtime hasn't changed since I was a toddler. I still go to bed at the same time, still get up at the same time.
You were up 10:15 last night.
Oh, I mean, it was shocking that. What was that all about? Bad influence on me, you are.
Well, I don't know. You get the lawn done.
I did get the lawn done this morning. I am tired because I've had less hours sleep. So I still got up the same time. I just didn't go to bed as early as I would normally.
I've got 7 hours according to my Fitbit.
Right. Oh, 7 hours. It's not quite enough.
It says it has another 52 minutes of restless, which I don't know. I move a lot in my sleep, so hard to tell whether I was actually awake or whether I was just moving, because I do.
Apparently I don't move when I go to sleep.
If I'm really tired, I'm like the dead, but generally speaking, I roll over quite a lot. I must get uncomfortable because I can get into positions that I probably shouldn't.
Head gymnastics.
But it's because I've got too much movement on so many of the joints, and I can get my arm in or wrist into a position where it's okay, and then I try and move and it really hurts, and then I've got to move to another position.
Oh, right.
But I don't know, it hurts initially. I'm not really aware of it.
Right. Oh, I'm going to go and feed this animal. He keeps coming in and out, in and out, in and out.
Oh, bless him. Right, well, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for popping in, and good to have your company.
And I'll show you some more of my thingy tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be nearly
hopefully
finished.
I'll have finished the border on this by the time.
Coming along lovely.
Yeah, I don't know what colour next, whether to go with meadow and then a bit of the zingy lime or something.
I think you should.
Just,
I like greens. They're second to blues though.
well, I've got duck egg in there and a bit of grey, so, and now we've got, I think it's Lincoln. So anyway, we'll see you all tomorrow, and thanks for joining us today.
Toodle.